Right. The last thing that I wanted to show was essentially the previous version also had an issue whereby the click responsiveness was really bad on dropping your orders onto the dome, and the reason for that was that what was happening was if you assign an action to, say, for instance, the bid ladder, and the 9G default order book is set up automatically with a bid, a buy action on the bid ladder and a sell action on the ask ladder. So what was happening was when you placed your order on here, if you clicked, in quick succession, the column would actually trap it as a double click. So the first click it would take as a single click, and then you click, 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 and every intermittent click it would pick up as a double click. And because there's no action set up for a double click, nothing would happen. So you would get this kind of strange effect where it would just be ignoring like clicks within your clicking, and it comes across as it looking as if it's very laggy. So I had a look at the problem, and then was quite quickly was able to see it was that. And the way to sort that out now is what I've done is I've already added the fix to the default spec because I assume that everybody that's using the ladder wants to be using fast order entry. I very much doubt anyone's going to be double clicking, although you can change it to that if you want. But the way that it's set up by default, I think, is what the majority of people will want, which is, you can drop orders very quickly in succession, and there's no, issues with the double click. So you saw when I did the example just now, dropping the 30 orders, it's really, really, it's every click it's there.
Order pending.
I'm not sure if the actual sound of the mouse click will come across on the video, but I can promise you that each time you hit the click, the number's incrementing. And
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
So the way that you get that working is on the default spec. When you install Beta 3, it's going to be set up by default. It's when you go into the grid, and then we go into the columns and we look at the bid column actions. You'll see there's a new action here, a buy action, and then there's a double left click. And it's assigned to the enter buy order. And then it's the same for the ask column. There's now a sell action assigned to the double click. So that's what you need to do if you have a custom spec set up already, which is down here, because I can't adjust your custom specs from the installation files. Firstly because from my side sending the stuff out, I don't know what custom specs you have, and I can't overwrite. Sorry, I mean, I can't update your specs. I don't want to overwrite your settings or anything. So if you have custom specs and you want to, enable the sort of the fast click action, what you need to do is replicate what I've done with the default spec. So if we go into our test spec over here, I think this one is going to have it already because I've copied it. Yeah, I copied it from the default. But without that, I've taken that buy action off there now, so I'll show you.
Order pending.
See, without that, when I was double clicking there, it wasn't responding on each click because now it's gone back to the old. There's a double click and there's nothing assigned, so it does nothing.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, so what you need to do if you want to get the fast click is you want to add another action. It will be the same. I mean, it'll be the same like for order entry, like the buy action. You're going to create exactly the same details, same information, and then just assign the second buy action to a double click. Seems a little bit convoluted like that, having to apply it to both event types, but it is the way Microsoft does it in Visual Studio, with event types, and it makes sense because it allows you to cater for that particular scenario without blocking off other potential scenarios. So, for instance, a lot of people probably think, well, why don't you just add an option on the bid column to sort of disable the double click or something like that? But if you think about that, if I had to do something like that, then it causes a kind of an issue with other sort of scenarios where if somebody wants to put, for instance, let's say someone's out there and they want to enter the order with a double click, now all of a sudden you've got this config that's completely conflicting with the type of action that they want to put on there. So I think once everyone gets used to this, it'll be fine. But and I've followed what Microsoft has done. I think that's probably going to be the best way for now. But that's essentially what you need to do to get that fast click action, is to just assign the particular action to both the single click and the double click. And that'll be the same throughout. So it's not just for adding an order. If there's any particular action that you have this type of issue with, where you want to, have it respond on every single click, then you just need to assign that action to both the double and the single click for it to pick them up both. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there because the video's gone on quite a bit longer than what I'd hoped. But yeah, I hope that's helpful for you.